I've made and deleted a couple of videos on the gerrymander wars. I'm really struggling with what to say about Republicans' blatant attack on the rights of Black voters in the South since the Supreme Court's ruling, Calais versus Louisiana, the other day. Yesterday, we saw Tennessee, at the behest, the urging of Marsha Blackburn, to strip Black Tennesseans from any representation, to get rid of the one blue district around Memphis.
This seat is an African-American majority seat. It's elected me, and it shows the African-American population votes on issues and they choose the candidate of their choice. It's a beautiful example of how America can work, races working together and having a good democratic process. And they totally tore it asunder. This was the work of Dr. King, of John Lewis, and they tore that apart. Who would have thought that could have happened? One of the great bills passed in the last half of the 20th century, the Voting Rights Act, to make up for slavery, to make up for Jim Crow, to make up for all of the awful things that have happened to African Americans in this country, to give them an opportunity, when possible, to have a district created where they can elect a congressman of their choosing. Instead, they go back to the equivalent of how many beans are in this jar, how many bubbles are on the bar of soap, paying a literacy tax, claiming they're race neutral. This was not race neutral.
Today, in a ruling that doesn't directly relate to Calais, the Supreme Court of Virginia decided to overrule the will of the people and, through a technicality, not allow the new redistricting map that was voted in by the voters to be used in the midterms. I really encourage everybody to go watch Jamel Bouie's video on it. It just came out. I just finished watching it on YouTube, because he makes the argument that that the state of Virginia should do what other states have done when courts have ruled in a way that they don't like when it comes to gerrymandered maps. They just ignored them. Republicans just ignore the courts when they say, hey, you can't gerrymander that way. And Jamel's advice to Democrats in Virginia was, okay, you should do the same thing. You should do the same thing. Make the Supreme Court of Virginia enforce their ruling, which, again, I'm not an attorney, I guess was very much a tiny technicality that many people are considering a poor ruling. And I have complicated feelings on that strategy, but I really think folks should go listen to Jamel's breakdown, because it's quite good. I also really appreciate my friend Amanda Nelson's perspective. She lives in Virginia, and she's like, this is not great, but it's not the end of the world, and we continue to soldier on. We continue to push for what we know is right and just, and we all vote. We all vote in the midterms.
It's so frustrating. Like, even just personally, I worked really hard on that campaign. I left because I am, you know. So the Virginia Supreme Court has struck down our new maps. Our new maps that we just voted on a few weeks ago were 10-1, like 10 blue districts to 1 red district. Our existing maps are 6-5. So we were trying to pick up about 4 seats. This is very annoying, let me tell you what. But it's not the end of the world, because we're going to pick up 2 kind of no matter what. Rob Whitman in the 1st and Jen Kiggins in the Virginia 2nd are very likely to lose if we have strong candidates. Both of their districts went for Spanberger in the gubernatorial election. So then what Virginia would be 8-3, which is actually one of the original maps that was proposed. On a personal note, I am now back in Rob Whitman's district. The new maps drew me out of his district. As you all know, he is my main op, and I am not entirely unhappy about the opportunity to take some swings at him again. Can Virginia just do it anyway? No. This was a change to our state constitution. The reason Tennessee and Texas and these other states can ram this through without having to have a vote, and the reason that California and Virginia had to have a vote, is because our state constitutions require it, and those other states don't. But that means we can do it for 2028. Because in Virginia, to change the state constitution, you need to pass the amendment in 2 sessions of the General Assembly, and then have a referendum, a ballot vote, like we just did. So we could do it again. We could pass it in a session in 27, pass it in the early session of 28, have a referendum in the summer of 28, and have new maps. Frustrating, just because of, for all the reasons, but it's not the end of the world, and it's not going to save some of the Republicans in this.
But I guess the main reason that I'm struggling to get through a video on this subject and express my opinion in a helpful and productive way is because I really just want to say fork found in kitchen, which is what I say all of the time. Like, what? Republicans are wanting to do a racism? Republicans in the South are racist as fuck? What? The legacy of Jim Crow has not been resolved? The failures of Reconstruction are playing out right now? Like, fork found in kitchen, fork found in kitchen. If you did not understand before now that the Republican Party is a party of unfreedom, of undemocracy, of corruption, of white supremacy, it should be abundantly clear to you now. The minute the Calais ruling came down, we saw multiple southern states move to gerrymander the shit out of their maps to disenfranchise every black voter in their state. In Tennessee, 1.1 million people will be disenfranchised because of what Republicans did there. I think it could be shocking to people who live in protected northern blue states and districts like mine in Portland, Oregon. You may not have been to the South before. You may not have been raised in the South. You may not know how alive and well racism is in the South. How many white men have been biding their time, strategizing and moving behind the scenes in ways that are not even so subtle, right? Like what they've been doing to get control of the Roberts Court has all been about leading here. It's all been about wanting to take us back to the Confederacy. MAGA is a reactionary, a regressive party that seeks to take us back in time to when black people didn't have rights, women didn't have rights, children were just property of their parents, and white men controlled everything, where workers had no rights. We didn't have an 8-hour workday. We didn't have a weekend. We didn't have protections for any of us. And the robber barons lived high on the hog, exploiting all of us. And now Republicans are reaping the fruits of their decades of labor to destroy democracy. But I think it's important to understand here that this is not the end of the road. I've seen people crashing out in my comments and Amanda's comments and other folks' comments all over social media today, being like, it's all over. Oh my God, America is done. I want to make it really clear here. American democracy, as of right now, is done. We no longer live in a democracy as of the Calais versus Louisiana ruling. That doesn't mean that we're done. It doesn't mean the American experiment is over. What I mean by that is that we didn't really have a democracy in this country until the Voting Rights Act. Not really. We did not have a full democracy in this country until the Voting Rights Act. And I've been saying for the last year that we're in a backsliding democracy. We're in a struggling democracy. We are now in a failed democracy. And that's because Republicans are racists. That's because Republicans' goal is to not have democracy at all. Their goal is to have white men in power and the rest of us just be property, just be, less than fully human and fully controlled by them. What do you think the Save America Act was about? It was about disenfranchising tens of millions of women voters. Why do you think they worked to overturn Roe? Why do you think they're now trying to make mifepristone illegal? Why do you think they're trying to push through this banking act that would make it very difficult for women to have control of their finances if they don't have a passport? Because They don't want women to have the right to vote. Republicans on the far right have been talking freely, openly about repealing the 19th Amendment for quite a while now. Likewise, they don't want Black Americans to have any representation, and they don't want Black Americans to be able to vote at all. You might be like, Angela, that's hyperbolic, right? The SCOTUS ruling is one thing, but like, of course they still want Black people to be able to vote. Did you hear what happened in Alabama today? Now again, immediately after the Courier ruling, it was Southern states, Republicans in the South, who have been dreaming about reconstituting the Confederacy, who have been dreaming about the antebellum South, who were like, oh yeah, let's redistrict immediately. Let's disenfranchise millions and millions of Black Americans. It was Arkansas, it was Louisiana, it was Tennessee, it was Florida, it was Alabama. Earlier today, Alabama Republicans were like, hey, let's try and gerrymander our map. Now, they've already been struck down for their gerrymandered map. They're trying to get it put back in place. And there was an emergency petition. Alabama Supreme Court said, nope, it is SCOTUS that told you can't have this map, so this has to go back to SCOTUS. We're not going to rule on it. But Republicans in Alabama are looking at what happened in Tennessee, and they're like, oh, yeah, how can we deny Black people in our state access to representation? But more than that, the real truth of what they want came out today in a press conference.
To look at those congressional districts again certainly gives us an opportunity to look at those congressional districts again, gives us a chance at all of them if we get some reprieve from the courts. And so we'll see how that goes, and certainly hope that the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14 and gives us a shot to revisit those.
What would you say from your perspective? I mean, other than Mr. Pro Tem, everyone was relatively silent on the goings-ons. What would you say from your perspective is the biggest misconception about what the bills do, and a message that you'd like to see out there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the biggest misconception is, the thing about it is, people tend to forget what happened when this thing went to court before. We actually, the Republican Party had that seat in, in Mobile, number 2 seat, that's congressional seat 2. So the district 2, and so that was one of the things, there's been a push through the courts to try to overtake some of these red state seats, and that's certainly what happened in that one. And with the ruling that happened in Louisiana, we felt like it gave us a chance to maybe regain that seat, but also opened up District 7. So I think that's happened. All we need now is the courts to overturn 14, and we can look at a new election. The thing is, if we did nothing was going to happen. And I applaud the governor for calling us back in and give us a chance to revisit that and look at it. And what happened here in Montgomery in that Senate seat probably should never happen to begin with. And so, of course, I'm at the point that probably none of it should happen to begin with. We got 3 branches of government. It's our job to legislate, to draw those district lines, and for the court to interfere with that. And to be honest with you, I thought it was a slap in our face, because we'd spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in reapportionment drawing those maps. And they let an 18-year-old kid from the university, or I don't know how old he was, maybe 19, send the map in, and they took it without consideration for what we had done. And, the way that the system is set up, that's the job of the legislative body. And I think we've done it in an appropriate way, and it's disappointing that they didn't follow that rule.
14th Amendment to the United States Constitution is what gave formerly enslaved Black Americans the right to vote. They are clearly publicly stating that they want to take away the right to vote from Black Americans. Likewise, they are publicly clearly stating that they want to overturn the 19th Amendment and take away the right to vote from women. They only want white men to be able to vote, and ultimately they only want wealthy white men to be able to vote. The Republican Party is a regressive party. They are a party of undemocracy. They want to take us back to a time when we were less prosperous, less free. We had fewer rights. We struggled harder. There was more disease, more struggle, right? That's the vision that Republicans have for this nation. A lesser America. An America not only in decline, but an America dragged backward centuries. I know over the last few days since the Courier ruling, people have been outraged. People have been brokenhearted. All of those feelings are valid and right. You are right to feel anything that you feel in response to the devastating news of what SCOTUS has dropped on all of us, and how Republicans are gleeful about it and the terrible things that they're doing in response. For white folks and folks who don't live in the South, this is not just a struggle for Black Americans and for Southern states. This is a struggle for every freedom-loving, decent American. We all must organize in earnest, and we all must accept nothing less than not just a restoration of the Voting Rights Act, but an expansion of it. And we also must settle for nothing less than making sure that every last one of these motherfucking racist Republicans is voted out of office, and that Republicans never, never have control of our government again. That requires organizing on a state and local level first, and then on a national level as well. It is Republicans in state houses who have made all of this awfulness happen. It is Republicans in state houses who have enacted the will of Donald Trump and Project 2025 and the greater Republican Party. So we've got to organize, we've got to be moving on a state level, and we've got to be moving on a national level, and we have to have level heads right now. We have to understand that we need to be strategic. I recommend everybody go read up on the civil rights movement. Even if you think you are well-versed, look at the tactics and strategies and the mindset and the perseverance and resilience of civil rights leaders. Look at the ways that they were not given up after one failed round. They didn't give up after one setback. They kept going, and they had their eyes on the prize, and they understood they would not accept anything less than civil rights. They would not accept anything less than freedom. Remember, an attack on one is an attack on all. We are working for our collective liberation, and right now, our Black brothers and sisters in the South are under attack from the Republicans, and we are not going to let that stand. We are not going to let that stand. So let's feel our feelings, and then let's lock in and get to work.